What is evil? How does it come to be? Can it actually manifest itself into human form? This isn't a trick, and it's certainly no treat. But one night on the eve of All Saints, a small Midwestern town bared witness to what could only be explained as pure evil. I'm Special Agent Casper Bollocks of the Covert Federal Division of Unexplained Phenomena, and this is Behind the Movie Killer. Years ago, I was contacted by a former colleague of mine who was working with a young man who, at the age of 6, murdered his sister on Halloween night. I was told there was nothing left, no reason, no conscience, no understanding, even the most rudimentary sense of life or death, right or wrong. I was on my way to conduct an evaluation of this young man, hoping to assist my former colleague in reaching him. But then he escaped. His name was Michael Myers. His doctor, my former colleague, was Doctor Sam Loomis. And my evaluation turned into a manhunt. For 15 years, Michael Myers never said a word, residing in a nearly catatonic state. Then, as if awoken from some sort of sadistic slumber, he decided to return to his hometown of Haddonfield to do some trick-or-treating. He got himself a mask and a costume, only he did not carry a sack for candy. Rather, he kept a tight grip on a really large kitchen knife. What woke Michael from his slumber? I hypothesized that Halloween was a big trigger for him, but why? Why did he let 14 previous Halloweens go by before coming back to life? The possible notions were fascinating to me, albeit terrifying. I arrived in Haddonfield just after dusk and decided to pay a visit to Michael Myers' old home. At this point, only Dr. Loomis was certain that Myers returned. However, my former colleague was rarely wrong when acting upon his psychiatric instincts. And as I peered into one of the second-floor windows of the house, Sam's hunch became confirmed. I saw the shape of a man hunched over and holding something that was small and struggling. It was a dog. Then, this was awful. The shape began eating the dog alive. The ghastly sight absolutely chilled me to the bone. I had to contact Sam, but wasn't sure where he was, and cell phones had yet to be invented. I attempted confronting the shape, but was thwarted by a couple of kids throwing eggs at the house. The noise caused the shape to depart. I rushed towards my car, but ended up getting clipped by a van that was veering all over the road. I'm pretty sure it was a couple of drunk teens because one of them yelled out the window how totally lame I was. Although in pain, I limped to my car and drove to a nearby lounge to call the police. I spoke to Deputy Gary Hunt, who informed me that Dr. Loomis was working with the town sheriff. He was unable to tell me anything further. Determined to assist Dr. Loomis, I began driving through the streets of Haddonfield, hoping to find a trace of Michael Myers. I did find one thing: the van that drove into me. It was parked awkwardly before a dimly lit house. What then caught my eye was the fact that the house's front door was wide open. Something did not feel right, so I limped up to the house. Suddenly, the voice of a young boy from across the street began screaming at me, "It's the boogeyman!" Startled, I rushed inside the house and began feeling very lightheaded. I looked down and noticed blood all over my left leg. Apparently, the van had hit me harder than I thought. The room started spinning. Panicked, I stumbled further into the house towards the kitchen. It was there that I discovered a dead body literally stuck to the wall with a large knife through the chest. I then heard footsteps descending from the second floor. The kitchen began to get blurry. Unsure what to do next, I hid in a pantry closet across from the dead body. Once there, I completely blacked out. By the time I woke up, I learned that Dr. Loomis did find his patient, but not before Michael Myers murdered 3 teenagers and almost a 4th. Actually, I found a new fascination with this particular teenager. Her name was Laurie Strode. She was an honors student, captain of the debate team, and had recently applied for early acceptance to the University of Illinois. And on Halloween night, instead of partying, She was babysitting a young boy as well as a young girl who was literally dumped in her lap by another babysitter who ended up being one of Michael's victims. Essentially, to call Laurie Strode a Girl Scout would be an understatement. I do have a potential theory as to why Michael chose Laurie Strode as a possible victim. When I was at the Myers house, I saw a for sale sign that said Strode Real Estate. Perhaps Michael made contact with Laurie Strode earlier and became fixated? Did he remind him of the sister he'd slain 15 years ago? Or was it something more? Regardless of any potential connection to Laurie Strode, Dr. Loomis came to her rescue and chose to end the reign of Michael Myers' evil by confronting him and shooting him 6 times, sending him careening off a second-floor balcony. It was over. At least, it should have been. Dr. Loomis told me that after Michael was shot, Laurie said that it was the boogeyman. Sam couldn't help but agree, which was why it came as no surprise to him when he gazed down from the second-floor balcony to see that Michael Myers was gone. Where was the body? Was there a body? As for now, I sadly do not know the answer. I still regret passing out in that pantry closet. Who knows who would still be alive if I was able to be the first to confront Michael, although perhaps my attempts would still end up in vain because, as you all know by now, you can't kill the boogeyman.
What's the boogeyman?
As a matter of fact, it was.